Hi everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome to week 4 of the Erie Waters Crochet Along. I am so glad that you are joining me on this crocheting journey as we work together to make the Erie Waters throw, which is a gorgeous stitch sampler throw which features some great stitches and some great texture. So this is the square that we are going to be working on today, and the stitch that it is going to feature is called the crossed ripple stitch. And I've selected the stitch for this throw because it sort of reminds me of waves. You can kind of see it here and see it more when it catches the light, but it has these diagonal stitches that kind of mimic for me the movement of the water. So it's another great stitch that we can learn together for this throw. So for this crochet along, if you haven't already, take a look at the necessary materials and the first 3 weeks of this crochet along. It can all be found linked on the video notes of this YouTube video, and they can also be found for free on my blog at richtexturescrochet.com. That's where you'll find all the free patterns for each of the squares in this crochet along. So we will get started. Of course, as before, you're going to be using a little bit of worsted weight yarn. Today I'll be working with a little bit of Caron Simply Soft. You will also need a 5mm crochet hook, and then of course a yarn needle and your scissors for finishing off your work. Once you have all of your materials together, you can get started. The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to chain 42 chains. You're going to make your slip knot and then begin by chaining 42 chains. 10, 20, 30. Throw my yarn down here. 40, 41, and 42. Once you have your 42 chains, you are then going to begin by single crocheting in the second chain, so 1, 2, the second chain from your hook, and in each chain across. So you will have a total of 41 single crochet stitches. It's 10. 20. 30. 41. 40, and then 1 single crochet in my last chain. So you will have a total of 41 single crochets. Now this stitch combination is a little bit more complicated than maybe some of the other stitches that we have been doing in this crochet along for these blocks. So I'm going to go through it rather slowly so that you can kind of see and get a better handle on of where I'm placing mostly double crochet stitches. So if you know how to do a double crochet stitch, you should be able to figure out how to do these crossed raised ripple stitches. Okay, so after you have done your row of single crochet stitches, you're then going to chain 3 and turn 1, 2, 3. Now in this pattern, that chain 3 at the beginning of your row always counts as a double crochet. So you will always work, and you must always remember to work in the top of this chain 3. It counts as a double crochet stitch. So once you've done your chain 3, you are then going to skip that first stitch that your chain 3 is in, and you're going to skip the next 1, 2 stitches, and you're going to work 1 double crochet in the next stitch. So skip the first, skip the next 2, and so you're going to be working your double crochet in this 4th stitch. Work 1 double crochet. You will then chain 1, and then you're going to work another double crochet. But instead of working forward along your single crochet row, you're actually going to place your next double crochet in the first of those 2 skipped single crochets. So you've double crocheted, you've chained 1, you're then going to double crochet in the first single crochet of the 2 that you skipped previously. So you're going to double crochet in there, and then I'll take a step back here and look at it. You're making like an X in your work. You're going to have a chain 1 up top, and if you kind of pull these apart down here, you will see you have a skipped single crochet in between the 2 of those. Okay, so you're forming like an X in your work. Okay, then you're going to yarn over, and you're going to get ready for another double crochet. Now from here on in, you're going to be repeating what you did back there. You're going to skip 1, 2 single crochets. You're going to double crochet in the next, just like that. You're going to chain 1, and then you are going to double crochet back here in the first single crochet of the 2 stitches that you previously skipped. So yarn over, just going to pull my yarn back here, insert my hook in the first of those 2 skipped stitches, yarn over, and then complete my double crochet as per normal. So now you can see I have 2 X's here in my work. You're going to repeat that. You're going to yarn over, you're going to skip the next 2, 1, 2 single crochet, you're going to double crochet in that next stitch, you're going to chain 1, you're going to yarn over and double crochet in the first of the 2 stitches that you skipped previously. Just complete your double crochet. You're kind of working over the post of that first double crochet that you did. So now I have 3 X's. So you're going to repeat that sequence, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the stitch previous, all the way across your work. Okay, so skip 2, double crochet in the next. Remember to chain 1, and then double crochet in the first stitch of the 2 skipped previously. Skip 2 single crochets, double crochet in the next, chain 1, yarn over, and double crochet in the first of the 2 skipped previously, all the way across. You want to make sure that you're working through both loops of your stitches. Now with this stitch, it helps to keep your tension a little bit looser. The fabric that you end up with, if your stitches are too tight, will have a tendency to curl. As long as your stitches are not too tight, it won't curl as much, and for the most part you'll just be able to kind of stretch your piece of fabric when you're finished, and the stitches will then lay flat. Sometimes, depending on the yarn that you're using, your piece may benefit from a light blocking, but in most cases, just kind of pulling the stitches, pulling it tight when you're finished should work. And when we get into the raised crossed ripple, you will see why it curls, and your ripples are all on the one side of the fabric, so it kind of pulls it upward. But I'll show you that when we get to it. I'm continuing to skip 2, double crochet. I'm almost at the end. Then I'm going to chain 1 and double crochet in the first of the 2 that I skipped. And then when you come to your last single crochet there, you're simply going to end with a double crochet. Just like that. So that is row 2 of your square. Now the raised crossed ripple is sort of coming out there, but once we get a little bit further and in this next 2 rows, you'll really see it come out there. Okay, so that's the first or the second row. Then what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1 and turn, and you're then going to work a row of single crochets in each stitch and each chain space all the way across. So once again, you want to end up with 41 single crochets at the end of this row. So in each stitch and each chain space, you will work 1 single crochet. So there's one in my first. I'm going to have a top of another double crochet here, and then I come to a chain space. I'm going to work a single crochet in there, and then I have 2 double crochet stitches. I'll work a single crochet in each of those. Don't forget my chain space, and just keep going all the way across. Single crochet in each stitch and each chain 1 space all the way across. This is going to get you back to the other side, and it will ensure that all of your textured crossed ripple stitches, they're all going to be on the same side. I'm coming up here on my end. And as I said before, remember that your turning chain, that chain 3 at the beginning, it always counts as a stitch. So always remember single crochet in the top of that chain 3. Otherwise, what you will see is your work will start to slant in that way. So if you find that as you're working, it is slanting a little bit, your edges are not straight, go back and check and make sure that you are single crocheting in the top of that chain 3. Okay. So now that you've done that, you're going to again chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and once again turn your work. And now we are going to really start that crossed ripple in our pattern. So what you're going to do is you've chained 3. You're going to again skip this first one because that's where your chain 3 is. You're going to skip the next 2 stitches and you're going to work a double crochet in the next stitch, just like you did down below. Now here's where it's going to differ a little bit. You're going to chain 1 and then you're going to do a front raised double crochet, or else you might call it a front post double crochet. Now in our second row we would count back and we double crocheted in that first single that we skipped. Here we're actually going to double crochet around the post of the first double crochet. So it's the double crochet underneath that first single crochet that you skipped, if that makes sense. So you've chained 1, you're going to yarn over, you're going to take your hook down in front of your work, find that first double crochet there, and you're going to insert your hook from right around the back of the post to left. And then you're going to yarn over and you're just going to complete the double crochet stitch as you normally would. So that's it there. And what you're going to have is this crossed double crocheted kind of laying across the top of your work. Okay, I'll show you that again. You're going to then do another double crochet. You're going to skip the next 2 single crochets, double crochet in the next. It's just a normal double crochet in that single crochet. Then you're going to chain 1. And then again, you're going to do a double crochet, a front raised double crochet around the post of the double crochet below that first single crochet that you skipped. So you're going to yarn over, go bring your hook in front of your work, insert your hook from right around the back of the post of that double crochet to left, yarn over and pull through, and complete your double crochet as you normally would. So again, now you can see you're still kind of doing these X's, but what you've done is you've raised this stitch in front of your work. So you're going to repeat that again. Skip the next 2 single crochet, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, yarn over, double crochet around the post of the double crochet below that first single crochet that you skipped, just like that. And you're going to do that all the way across again. So skip the next 2, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet around the post of the double crochet below. Skip the next 2, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet around the post. Once you get the hang of this stitch, this block will work up fairly quickly. It's actually, I think, one of the quickest blocks to make up from this crochet along. The next two, double crochet, chain one, double crochet. Now we're almost to the end of our row. Skip two, double crochet in the second to the last, chain one, double crochet around the post. You want to make sure that you complete the front raised double crochet on each of the first double crochets in each of these X's down below. And then you'll remember to double crochet in the last stitch. Like that. So you can take it and you can see how it kind of already it's starting to kind of curl up. But as you get more and more rows in, it will pull flat a little bit more. And then, like I said, if you kind of stretch and pull your work to kind of bring your double crochets up to the tops of their posts, it will really help with the curling factor. Okay, so that was row 1, 2, 3, that was row 4. Now we're going to do row 5, and it's simply a chain 1. You're going to turn your work, and then like you did before, you're going to single crochet in each stitch and each chain 1 space all the way across. So in your 2 double crochets, the chain 1 space, 2 double crochets. Again, you're going to want to have 41 single crochets in the row by the time you get to the end. If you need to stop and go back and count just to make sure that you didn't miss any, go for it. Almost to the end. And remember, always place your single crochet in the top of that turning chain. That chain 3 counts as a stitch. And then you're back and you're going to turn again. So now for this pattern, all you have to do is repeat those last 2 rows. So you're going to now do another chain 3, and you're going to do another raised double, what's it called? A front raised double crochet stitch all the way across, and then you're going to do a single crochet. You're going to repeat those last 2 rows that you did until you have a total of 31 rows, or until your square has reached its desired length. So for the one that I'm doing, my squares are all about 9.5 inches tall, or blocks. They're not exactly squares, they're more rectangular. So my blocks are all 9.5 inches tall. Your blocks might be slightly different than mine, and that's fine. Just continue to work those final 2 rows, the raised ripple and then the single crochet row, until you reach the desired size, or 31 rows. Then you're going to make sure that you end with a single crochet row. Okay, so go ahead and work on that. Meet me back here and I'll show you how to do the edging. Okay, so once you've finished your 31 rows, or your block is to the desired height that you would like, you're going to fasten off and you're going to weave in your ends. And then with the right side of your work facing, you're going to, in the top right hand corner, you're going to join your yarn with a slip stitch in that corner. Now the edging on this square is going to be done exactly the same way as all the other squares that you have done previous to this one. So remember, if you have, for this crochet along, added or taken away single crochet stitches in your edging, you'll want to remember to do it for this square as well. You want all your squares to have the same number of single crochet stitches on each side, so that it makes it easier for when it comes to joining them together. Okay, so I've joined with a slip stitch, and I've actually gone ahead and placed 1 single crochet in this first corner stitch, and then you're just going to single crochet in each stitch all the way across. Okay, just like this. So you will have a total of 40, and then I'll show you what to do in the corners. Okay, so there's 40. And then I'm going to, in this next corner stitch, I'm going to work 3 single crochet stitches, and that's going to bring me a nicely around to the other side. So in each corner stitch, you are going to work 3 single crochets. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet along this edge. I'm going to place a total of 35 single crochets evenly along this odd edge. Now it can be kind of tricky because there aren't clear stitches for where to place your hook. So one thing I recommend doing if you are having trouble making sure that your stitches are placed evenly across is using a stitch marker or a paper clip or just another odd colored piece of yarn. Mark your block halfway. So that way you'll have a smaller number of stitches to count, and so for this you'll want to make sure you put 17 on one side of your marker. You'll place 1 single crochet in your marker, and then you'll have 17 more stitches to the end. Okay, it just kind of breaks it up and gives you a smaller number of stitches to work with. It'll kind of better your chances of getting your stitches evenly across. So you're going to then, you've done your 3 in the corner, you're going to then begin just doing a single crochet. Now there are couple things that you can do. You can simply begin and just single crochet in each stitch, and then around the post of the double crochets. When you single crochet around a post of a double crochet that's on an end like this, sometimes it will pull it. I'll just show you here. It will pull it up a little bit. So in your final result, you might find a little hole like that one. I think you can kind of see it there. You might find a little hole. For some people that is okay. For me, I don't mind. It's just the nature of the stitch. You can kind of see it's a little bit more, it's not as tight of a fabric as the other ones have done. It has a little bit more of a kind of a heavy lace look. So for me, that hole was okay. And that's what I did. It just matched the rest of my fabric well. If you would like to avoid that, what you can do is, instead of single crocheting around the post of this double crochet, you can single crochet. You can pick up a little bit of the stitch below it and then work through, and I'll show you. And what that does is, you can see it brings it together, so you don't have that kind of larger hole apparent there. But it's up to you. It's up to your own personal preference. Just know that when you're finished a square, you'll have these holes along the side. For me, it just kind of matched the more lacy look of this particular block in the throw. But it's up to your own personal preference. Okay, so I'm going to now, all that being said, work my 17 one and then 17 more single crochet. Here's 17. Then I'm going to work one single crochet right in my stitch marker, and then I can take it out. So now I just have 17 more to go. And now I'm back to the next corner stitch. I'm going to work 3 single crochets in here. And I'm going to single crochet in each stitch all the way across the opposite side. And then to the end, another 3 in this corner, and then another 35 down this other edge. So I'll leave you for a moment to work. Okay, so once you've come across that other odd edge, doing your single crochets, when you come to that first corner that you worked in, you're simply going to work 1 and 2 single crochets. Then you're going to join in that first stitch with a slip stitch, and then you're going to fasten off your work. Then all you have to do is weave in your ends and start working on the next square. Okay, so there you have it. That is the end of the tutorial for this block for week 4. Don't forget to join the event on Facebook at Rich Textures Crochet, and there you're welcome to post any questions or comments. Also share photos in that of how your crochet along is going. If you are sharing photos on social media, feel free to tag them Erie Waters Cal. So Erie Waters CAL, and show off your work, your great talent. Thank you again so much for joining me for week 4 of the Erie Waters Cal. Happy crocheting, and I'll see you soon.